Hi, everybody. My name is David Brysh. I'm the counselor and I also teach social studies at APS Online High School. And I wanted to show a little bit about what we did with badges this year. We had a lot of fun sort of exploring and experimenting. So, first, a little bit about Schoology, the platform we work in. This is a typical classroom. This is the psychology class, for instance. And it looks like Facebook, right? You can see that there's updates, there's calendar invites, and there's a bunch of um, choices down along the side here, one of which is badges, which we'll get to in a little bit. In a typical class in psychology, into perception, I guess, it looks kind of like this, where we have webinars once a week, and we post videos in there. We have discussions, we have quizzes, we do all sorts of assignments, all sorts of interesting things like that. And then here is my counseling page that I created. It looks very similar to the psychology page because all of our pages we've kind of made to be easier for students, kind of all similar. And inside the counseling page, I also have badges I created. So here are some of the badges that I created in the past. I've truncated the video here, or kind of moved what's captured on the screen so you don't see identifying names of students, so it might look a little strange here when I'm clicking on things outside of the screen. But when you want to create a badge, you go in here and you just click on Add Badges and create a new badge. You do have a couple of choices. You can import from resources. You could go, well, let's look at the Schoology badges first, maybe. So I first noticed badges, really, because Schoology had created their own. And so here are some of the ones that they had come up with before. Student of the Month, and Good Listener, and Leadership, those sorts of things. Participation badges for the most part. And then I started creating my own badges. This is the badge creator tool, the utility that Schoology has. And there's a place for your title, for the details of the messages that you want to give to students, that you receive this badge at such a time for this particular reason, that sort of thing. You can upload an image into this space. There are 3 shapes you could choose from and a color palette. Down here you can also choose whichever color you want the shape to look like that. And so I just went in there and started experimenting and creating badges. So here are some of the badges that I created. Most of these are for participation in various after-school activities or interesting classes. For instance, here is, I'll click on the Philosophy Club badge. Here's the Philosophy Club badge. It's for participation in one of our new clubs, the Philosophy Club. You can see we could have chosen whatever colors we want. I'll talk about the color scheme here in a second about why we chose what we chose for that. We just attached a file, a picture file. We just typed in what the message was going to be and gave it a title. Very simple. There are many other badges we created for participation, like level 1 is for our computer gaming club. I guess it's not totally computer games. We do some board games and we do various kind of games. But for our gaming club, we chose level 1 for our badge, for our participation badge. Here's an amateur psychologist one for anybody who took the senior class psychology. We also have yearbook and leadership as badges we've created. And the text is all very similar. So here's yearbook. This badge is awarded to whatever the reason is, so that's kind of just something I started doing to keep everything consistent. And I think for next year, when we have a badge development team now, yay, that's going to sort of pick up where that left off. That's yearbook there. And so we have a college-bound badge for students who are going to college. We have a certified nursing assistant badge for the students who went to Pickens and received they went through the first responder class and then the nurses aid class, and they received their CNA licensure. So we thought that was something we wanted to point out and reward kids for. We also have a quarterly award winner badge for all of our students that receive a quarterly award. Let me show you that one. It's for academic excellence, and each subject area gets to nominate somebody for this award every quarter, and the principal gets to do one too for an overall sort of, you've done really well this quarter, or you've come back from or overcome some sort of obstacle, that sort of thing. So we have a quarterly award winner badge. And we also have a perfect attendance badge. Assigning badges in Schoology is very, very simple. So when I first started creating badges, all I would have to do is go down my counseling page here. Since every student is in counseling, that sounded wrong. Not every student is in counseling. Every student is in the counseling page. It was easy to find students, and then all you have to do is click on a particular student's name. You just sort of hover over their name and then give a click, and that badge is assigned to that student. Super simple. And then when you want to take it away, you just hover over again and click on it. So you can see some students have a number of badges. Other students have yet to earn one. They're working on that. So let me talk about the color scheme and that sort of thing with the badges. And let's pick a badge. We're going to go with let's do one you maybe haven't seen yet. Level 1. I chose to go with the progression of badges that sort of appear on the bottom left-hand area here. So the circle badge would denote participation. What would we call that? A squiggly line part of the badge would connote some sort of intermediate level where a student has done something greater than just participating. Like maybe for level 1 here, it would be for the club president, or maybe the club officers. And then the star would be somebody who would go above and beyond, somebody who would achieve an advanced sort of badge. I'll show you some examples of that in a little bit. And then the color scheme here, we've decided, well, I started just by assigning all kinds of different colors, and I had colors for different badges to try and make them more, I don't know, appealing, I guess, visually. Since you only have so many designs here in Schoology, I was trying to make them, somewhat different looking and unique. And then when our badging committee got together, the badging team, we decided that each individual color would represent a different subject area. So that black was for counseling, while yellow was for electives. So before I show my PACE class and our badging team sort of document that we're working with, I wanted to kind of take a moment to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of using the Schoology tool. The first pro, I guess, is that it's super easy to use and navigate and assign badges to people. All you have to do is type things in. It's super simple. You find attached files. It's really something anybody with just a modicum of computer skills can manage. So even if somebody doesn't feel like they're like a techie person, they could still create assigned badges very simply. It's really easy to change things and customize whatever options you would want. And then, like you saw before, it's really easy just to click on a student and assign them the badge. The drawback really is kind of what I've already mentioned, that there are a very limited number of badge types, and so the uniqueness factor for each badge is or can be a problem. If you only have a certain number of badges, maybe for each class, that's okay, but they can start looking repetitive really quickly. So that's one of the major drawbacks. It would be nice if Schoology could there's an import feature, but it really only imports badges you've already created. So you can save like this level 1 badge, and I could use it for other things if I wanted to, or if I created a badge for some literacy standard, then I could use it across multiple classrooms. But there's no importing badges from a place like For All Badges or any open source kind of areas, which I've kind of been playing around in. So it would be nice if you could use those for more variety, or if Schoology could build more robust tools for making badges interesting and unique. So that's kind of the benefits and drawbacks there. I am in charge of a PACE class, which stands for Professional and Community Experience. So when students go out and do volunteer work, or they go out and have a job, then they can get credit for that job or that volunteer experience by doing some assignments and some reflection and some projects around that particular job or community service. And so after I had created some badges in the counseling page, I decided that I would maybe try a progression system, so we could start with a circle and then go to a squiggly line and then go to a star if you're super awesome. So I decided I'd use my PACE class because it seemed a sort of an easy, natural progression. Let's go to the PACE badges. And so I came up with 3 levels, since there are 3 levels in Schoology. I started with the PACE Worker badge, which was assigned to, as you can see, everybody in the class. And the PACE Worker badge was for students who had joined the class and decided to go where no student had gone before, because this is brand new to us. So it's black border for, I decided to put PACE with counseling because whoever's the counselor is going to have this PACE class. So it's got black border for that. It's the participation level, so it's a circle. And then the next level up is the PACE Supervisor badge. And it's if a student can get their 180 work hours logged, they gain proficiency on 2 essays and the final evaluation, then you get a squiggly line and a PACE Supervisor badge. And then finally, if you are a completely awesome PACE student, you can earn a PACE Manager badge. And that is more than 180 hours logged. Proficiency gained on all 3 of the essays, and an advanced score on the final evaluation. As you can see, the PACE Worker badge goes to everybody. The PACE Supervisor badge, getting your 180 hours and being proficient on essays and on the final evaluation, went to 5 students. And last quarter, 1 student, totally awesome student, made it to the PACE Manager badge. Congratulations on that student. And hopefully this quarter, we're almost done. So hopefully this quarter we'll have a couple other people in the PACE Supervisor badge area and the PACE Manager badge area. At least I hope so. I hope they hope so. And those are the badges that I created for APS Online this year. At the end of 4th quarter, I was showing my work to some of my colleagues, and they started thinking about, hey, maybe we should form a badge team, and then we can use this in a bunch of our classrooms. And I said, hey, that's a great idea. So once we got together, we decided to come up with that system I was mentioning. So let me show you that. We created for ourselves a nice little Google Doc here that has the category, whether it's participation or academic. It's got the class that the badge is issued in. There's counseling there, and psychology, and PACE, and all that good stuff. We had some of our new teachers. Brittany Scritchfield decided to jump on board. She's making some for English. Her idea is to gamify her classroom. She saw at a professional development a person who was gamifying his classroom, and she thought it was really cool. So she's creating all sorts of badges for her English class, including some secret ones where she could award to students who have demonstrated some cool, interesting things like following her on Twitter and stuff like that. So really interesting stuff there. So we've got class, we've got the badge title, we've got the color of the border so that we can keep track of what colors belong to which subject area. Like black, for instance, I was telling you before, is for PACE, for clubs, for after-school activities, participation sorts of things. Green is for social studies, yellow for electives, blue is for English. What level the badge is, whether it's basic or intermediate or advanced. And the criteria for the badge. So Brittany just decided to kind of continue on with my sentence starter stem. This badge is awarded to students who blah, 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 blah. And then the issuer will go here. We also have our family liaison as part of the badging team. And he is coming up with some badges that have to do with, sort of participation in and around the family liaison role. So that should be interesting too, to see what he comes up with. And so Mr. Bailey was nice enough to demonstrate what the badging system would look like if you were a student. So I just assigned him some badges so you could see it. So we didn't have any identifying information for the student. As a student, on the profile page, a student can, in this middle section here, add to their profile. So if I clicked on info, for instance, you would see the profile here. And then on the right-hand side are the badges. I guess this might be another drawback to Schoology, is that you only see the icon of the badge and no identifying information on the right-hand side. You have to click on See All in order to be able to read what the badges are for. But this is how it would look if we were a student. However many badges you collected would go in this area here. Students have had kind of a mixed reaction. Some have been really into the badges, and others have not really cared too much about the badges. They kind of seem ambivalent. So hopefully, Brittany's idea of gamifying the classroom, hopefully I can get out there and do some sort of PBIS kind of reward system for some of the badging. That's I think my next step, is to give some small rewards so that students feel like, hey, they have this cool badge plus a little immediate gratification for earning the badge. And then we're taking some students who've earned a number of badges, like Mr. Bailey here had been a student. This is pretty good badge earning for 1 quarter, 1.5 quarters worth of work. So we're going to take some of the students who've earned a number of badges to a Rockies game as kind of a reward, that sort of thing. So that's, I think, our next step, is to get the badging team together and working hard to get the progression of badges kind of set in place like I did in the PACE class. I think that turned out pretty well. And to get students more interested in the badging process and earning badges and looking at someone else's badge and saying, hey, I really would like to earn that, whatever the badge might be. So thanks for listening to the how APS Online is doing badges this year, and hopefully I'm going to post this on the badging space and see what you guys have done. So hopefully I'll get some cool ideas that I can steal from there too. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon.